All right, then, let's get going and take a look at how you format an emailed submission package. Just for a little bit of history here, in the really old days, that was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the query, synopsis, and sample pages were submitted in print and snail mail. Times Roman was the face, the font. Everything was double spaced. And then when the industry changed, and it happened really fast, like in 7 or 8 months, in 2014, they went digital, especially the agents. So that now the query letter is followed by synopsis, and that's followed by sample pages in one really long email. At this point, nobody opens attachments. And as we were just commenting, your submission is going to be read on a smartphone, maybe a tablet, maybe even a computer. But you want to do that. You want to create the format in the smallest possible way, so that no matter if it appears good here, it'll look great every place. And before you even consider setting up the format for your submission, find out what the agent wants. Now, not every agent wants the full package. Some just want a query, even emailed, and if they're interested, they'll ask you to send more. Most want query, synopsis, and a specific number of pages. If your sample, let's say to get to the end of chapter 3, pushes you over that a little bit, no problem, do it anyway. They'll keep reading. If they've gotten that far, they'll keep reading a few extra pages. Now, let's talk about font a little bit. What you're seeing right here on the screen right now is Georgia 14 point, and I use that for these classes because I think it makes it easier to read. In the sample below, I've got 12 point with Times Roman and Georgia. I prefer Georgia. Again, it can be read on any kind of a search engine, any kind of a system. The Georgia letters are round and they're easier to read. Let's take a look. Here's Georgia, 12 point. Now, it looks like Times Roman, but as you can see, it's a little larger. And here's and again, this is 12 point. And in Times Roman, it's a little tighter and a little smaller. So I suggest go for Georgia. Make it a little easier for the agent to read. The easier you make their job, the greater the odds that they're going to read everything you've submitted. Now, a few rules. Everything is flush left. The synopsis, the title is flush left with 1 space above, 1 space below. Don't center it. Don't get fancy. Don't change your font. And when you get to the manuscript sample pages, it's flush left, 1 space above and 1 space below. Do not get all fancy with with extra spaces, because if you decide, oh, I'm going to just do it, with set this up with double space like I used to for snail mail, on a screen this big, you'll get maybe 3 or 4 lines. It's better that you have more lines, single spaced, to help the agent read more quickly, and they might be reading it this way. You never know. And also, some of the newer phones have bigger screens. Don't know how well they're going to do, but we'll see. You always want to double check the agent's email address. You always want to double check what you've written in the email subject line. Some agents want the word query and or their name in the subject line, and then your title or your dynamite words. You don't have to put your title in the subject line. That's an old myth. You want to put something there that's going to make the agent go, wow, that's interesting, and they'll click and open your email. The whole point is to motivate them to read your work. And then you cut and paste the entire submission into an email. Send it to yourself and to a friend, to some other computers, some other systems, to make sure that your query, that it arrives in the same form you've sent it. I recommend that you start with 6, you wait 2 weeks, and while you're waiting, you know, take up bowling or something else, write your next novel. What a concept. If you don't hear anything, send out the next 6. Wait at least 2 weeks. Again, work on your novel, do something different, leave it alone. Now, just because of the way, the speed in which people respond or don't today, if you don't hear anything back after 12 emails have been sent out, and each one, by the way, you know, it's individually sent to each agent, take a hard look at your materials, especially the text that follows your, let's say, first 350, 500 words. I teach my writers to make those words really engaging. And sometimes they do such a good job, but they neglect to do the same thing with the rest of their manuscript. And that really shows when the agent gets to the part where they haven't really cleaned and revised and tightened. Also be sure that the agent you're submitting to wants what you have to offer. Now, I have in the past talked about agentquery.com and querytracker.biz. And I think the best resource right for now is to go to the listings for Writer's Digest conferences, because they list the agents who will be coming to the conference looking for clients. And they tell very specifically what each agent wants and how they want it submitted. It's like, wow, they have done a lot of legwork for you. So, and here's a link, writersdigestconference.com. And this will take you to a page with, I think, about 25 or 30 of the 60 agents who will be at this big super duper conference in August. You can contact those people now, and the listing tells you what they're looking for. That will not change between now and August. So you find somebody who's interested in what you have to offer, go grab them. So let's take a look at Last Promises at the whole package. This is a project that's being readied for publication from one of the members of our Submission Central group. So the email subject line, this is a case where the title also makes a good subject line, Glass Promises. Now, and as we scroll down, here's your three paragraph query letter with all the necessary information, and one spare line, one open line at the bottom, synopsis, another open line. So that no matter what this, how this is being read, laptop, smartphone, tabletop, you can easily see the different portions. So here's the synopsis. Now at the end of the synopsis, again, flush left, bold, the title, and the sample pages. This is about 2 pages. And when it's done, I suggest that you always put dots or something to indicate to the agent that this is the end of your submission, so they don't poke around or look for something else. Now, does anybody have any questions about this? And this can be you in the audience or the 2 Submission Central people who are here right now. Any questions about, Linda, does that help you know what you need to do?
All right, explain justified to me one more time.
Of course. What?
How do you justify? You click the thing that says everything should be justified on the left.
Okay, number 1, you don't want to click justify, and I'm going to show you on my screen. You can see my full screen, right? When I go to, let's just say I'm going to highlight these few lines. Oh, I love this technology that I can do this. I go to home, and okay, Linda, are you following?
Yes.
Over here, it says
Yes.
align left.
That's what I do.
And this one says center. This is align right and justify. Look, I'm going to click on justify. Did you see how it stretched out the words?
Yes.
Because they have to go to the same place.
Right.
The right line, the right end of the line is always ends at the same place. Now, but when you go ragged right, which is left, what means that it's not justified, it's all butted over to the left, you can see that the lines are different lengths.
Yes.
When something is set this way, it's very easy to flow it into anything, and nothing should change. And I have an actual return right here. For example, at the end of this sentence, and Linda, this may be what you're doing that's causing the problem. I click once to get to the next line, and for this situation, I hit return again. So that I know that right now it looks like these are all spread out. However, when you see this as ready to go, everything is quite tightened. So what part of that, Linda, let's see, work on it for next week. Just the first couple of pages of your package, let's say you're querying your synopsis.
Okay.
Set it up this way. You will have the opportunity to submit it to our Facebook group, because there's some, if you're doing this is very simple. It's kind of, this is like where less is a lot more. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so Mary Ellen asked, there should be one line between each part of the submission as well as between each paragraph and each part. Very nicely stated, Mary Ellen. Yes, that's correct. Because you cannot indicate a paragraph by tabbing in. Tabbing will make your text just go, oh, crazy. And you think, what happened? No tabs. Everything is flush left. Ragged right. It ends where it ends.
Molly?
Yes.
I was, looking at different places and submissions and things like that. And
yes,
a publisher, which I guess might be different. I don't know. I think they're called source books, and it's one of the few publishers that allows you to submit your manuscript without an agent.
Yes.
And they wanted it double spaced, indented, Times
Roman. Yeah, the old way. Now,
yeah.
Is this a paper? Do they?
No, Source Books is a publisher.
No, I know who they are. Do they want you to snail mail it in, or email it?
Oh gosh, I didn't look.
I don't know how, frankly, Vicki, I don't know how you can tab and have it stay in place unless you put together what they want and turn it into a PDF. Is that comprehensible? Do you understand?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to double check it. Maybe it was for snail mail. I don't know.
I think that is probably for U.S. Postal Service, because it simply won't work. Now, and I have noticed, Vicki, with even some of the agents, that they aren't totally 100% clued in about how they need to ask to have the work submitted. I did find some where they said double space, and I thought, you gotta be crazy.
Yeah.
Because that makes, that makes this, oh my gosh, you'd die of boredom before you finished it, because you'd have extra spaces.
Yeah.
So you need to go back and look, and you can, again, let us know on the Facebook page.
Okay.
And let's see, we got another question. Do we use Georgia 12 or 14 point? Mary Ellen, I would think use Georgia 12. This is 12 point, but I have I have blown it up a little bit to make this easier for for everybody to read on screen. So it's 14. This one is 12. This one, let's go here. This is 12. And see the difference? This is 14. 14 is easier to read here. This is not too bad in Georgia. This is not Times Roman. This is Georgia. Let's just do a little comparison. Here's, let's just change this to Times Roman and just look at the difference. It's a little tighter. You'll notice it's a little tighter in between. Mm-hmm. And it's just smaller.
It's a little smaller.
It's a little smaller. Georgia it's larger because it's rounder and it's a little thicker. It's still 12 point, but I think that's, again, when I was reading manuscripts way back 1,000 years ago when they were sent by mail, you just get, after a couple of dozen, you just kind of go blind because you're reading this. Everything was 12. Some was courier, which is even worse, very spread out, very large, and hard to read quickly. So again, this is all changing constantly. And Mary Ellen, if you're part of my mailing list, when things are shifted in the industry, I'll let everybody know right away. Okay, anything else? Any other questions? Oh, I should probably change that back. Again, the magic of electronics. Just puts it right back. Oh, I love this. Okay, so this is nice and clean. This is what an agent or an acquisitions editor, or maybe, Vicki, even a publisher, and I do know source books. Mm-hmm. You need to, it sounds to me like they're giving you instructions for something that's submitted on paper. Mm-hmm. But because I don't know how you can tab and have it stay, or know that it's going to stay in that place as opposed to dance all over the page.
Right.
Okay. All righty. So I'm going to close this out and then we'll go on to the class portion. So hang on for just a minute and I'm going to turn off